Hello, can you hear me? Hope you can hear me. What's going on? This is Brad, and this is The Bad Show, where I talk about video games, and things about video games, and things pertaining to video games. Let's see. Hey, my viewer count thing is back this week. I don't know what happened to it. Last week it was gone and wouldn't show up. That's interesting. It says I have one Twitch viewer. I think that's actually left over from me, because I was trying to change the episode title. So that might be, it might be counting as me. Hello, me. So that's funny. Anyway, welcome to the show. I didn't do a show last week. I didn't feel like doing one. And I actually had some stuff to talk about. You can see what I'm going to talk about first in the corner up here, pertaining to Smash Brothers. I was going to lead into that because that reveal happened last week, and she's already out. But anyway, it's interesting. It's been the last week or so has been pretty bad for video games, but I don't want to spend too much time on that because I want this show to be mostly just about, game reveals and game discussion and stuff like that. I mean, but it sucks. There's some bad stuff in different ways too. So it's not all necessarily pertaining to one particular event or one person or one situation even. So, I mean, there was one that popped up, I think it was last night. That pertained to, that was less, well, I don't know, that one isn't necessarily specifically, I guess you could say, or exclusively about video games. But, But anyway, try to be better. Gotta learn to treat everybody with respect and everything like that. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump right on into things. First things first, last week we finally got the reveal of the newest addition to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Min Min from ARMS. Now, I was not expecting this character, even though I saw some folks say that she was probably likely, because apparently she has a decent sized fan base. I thought it was going to be Twintel. I even did an ARMS playthrough as Twintel, specifically for my YouTube channel, that I have 2 parts up, I think. Yeah, I think I got half of that up. I think it was a 4-part playthrough. That's how long it took. But and this was before this was revealed, so it's gonna be funny to have that up there after she gets revealed. But anyway, the original trailer that they showed, where Sakurai presented her and everything. The first off, the trailer itself, the reveal trailer, the little animation and everything they put together was really good. It's really fun. They even brought in Captain Falcon's voice actor, who coincidentally enough also voices Vegeta in Dragon Ball. So that was a fun little tidbit. I didn't know that. I did not know Captain Falcon and Vegeta were the same had the same voice actor. You learn something new every day. But that's also weird because which I don't think it's going to happen, but it's just weird that that's twice now we've had a reference to Dragon Ball in Super Smash Brothers. And that's because remember when they revealed the hero, Sakurai said they wanted to make sure that the character animated to fit Toriyama's, art style, of course, which of course Toriyama's been doing Dragon Quest forever, but of course I think people are always going to associate Toriyama with Dragon Ball no matter what. But anyway, that was just a fun little thing. No, I don't think Goku's gonna be in Super Smash Brothers, nor do I think he should be. I mean, if it were to happen for whatever reason, even though I'm pretty sure Sakurai has said multiple times he's not putting Goku in Smash. He's not putting, for some reason people wanted Iron Man in Smash. And the only reason I can think that is because of the Marvel vs. Capcom games, but even still, no, I don't think those characters should be in this game. It is a game about video game characters, not characters from comic books or manga or cartoons or whatever. that doesn't work. It's not appropriate for this game. So I just think it was funny that we've gotten two references to Dragon. One specific reference where Sakurai literally said Vegeta from Dragon Ball. So that's funny. But anyway, as the trailer went through and or went on, and Sakurai showed off Min Min's moveset and everything, like I said, I was kind of okay to Min Min being in. At least I was a little bit more excited for her being in than I was for Byleth, because I actually have played ARMS. I do own ARMS, so I was satisfied regardless of who it was. I thought it was going to be Twintel, or I thought it was going to be one of those situations like the Hero, where it was going to be multiple representatives, presented as one character. But watching her move, watching her mannerisms, and the way they animated her, that wouldn't have worked. And I think it's the way you get away with that for the Hero is that they're all pretty much silent protagonists, and so they don't really have much personality. So it's okay to, throw different protagonists onto one character, for lack of a better word, and present a new DLC like that. But you can't do that with ARMS. A lot of these characters do have their own personalities, and they do stand out from each other. And so I could understand why they would be hard to do in this case. So I do think they made the better decision here to just go with one representative, and that way they can show off more of her personality. So that was a good call. And watching her moveset and watching Sakurai show it off, I was actually, more impressed as the presentation went on. And by the end of it, I was like, okay, cool. This could be a fun character. So, after the presentation, and they didn't reveal anything else. They didn't reveal another character, which, if I remember right, the end date of this DLC is set for the end of next year. So we'll likely see these reveals staggered, like even more. So that means that this is July 4th of 2020. I think the end date for these was December 2021. So that's still 18 months with 5 characters left. That's what, about 3 weeks and some change. I mean, not 3 weeks, 3 months and some change between reveals. So it could be a good while before we see any more Smash news, which is kind of sad because this was like E3 period. This is the where we normally would have had E3, and there's been not much anything from Nintendo really. No big reveals. They dropped Paper Mario, the Origami King, like just out of the blue. Now, I know that was a rumor for a little bit, but the actual reveal just came completely out of nowhere. They didn't, no tease, nothing. So I'm curious as to what Nintendo has got planned for what would have been E3, because they've got to have some games coming. But that's a debate for another day. But anyway, as far as Min Min herself goes, this is a fun character. I've played her. I've decided for the rest of the DLC to record me playing the classic modes as his characters and do their spirit boards for my channel too. I've already got that recorded. I'm going to try to get that uploaded. Probably going to go up the week after next. I think I'm going to do, the way I'm going to do this for next week's channel is going to focus on probably Digimon World. I've been playing a lot of that, I want to beat this game. But either that or Pokemon Sword. Need some more Pokemon Sword because I want to get to the DLC. But anyway, this is a fun character to play. It's a little hard to get used to the idea that you can do smash attacks while moving, and her special attacks basically just function as more like you can do smash with either arm, and the weird way that you can like throw an attack to the right and then immediately swap over to the left is cool. It's a very unique character, very unique. I mean, Sakurai said it was going to be a character that was going to change, like that was going to behave differently, and he did it. And you could throw out attacks like in the air. You can like, I can't remember if you can actually smash attack in the air, but she plays a lot like how you would play her in arms. And that's one of this game's like strengths, is that they bring over features from certain games where there's a sense of the original game this character came from in Smash. So that's how dedicated I think Sakurai's team is to making sure that the characters feel authentic to where they came from. I mean, you can look at like the hero has his spell menu thing that comes down, and you can cast different spells and they cost MP. So that's interesting. You've got Terry Bogard, where he can do a bunch of his classic fighting stuff, and even at 100% damage or below a certain HP thing, he gets that okay thing which allows you to use his Buster Wolf and Power Geyser. So that's brought over from the Fatal Fury series and King of Fighters. It's not quite as big of a reference, but like even Banjo-Kazooie, where you only have a limited number of feathers to use for that that invincible move. So there's a lot of things. And even like Cloud's Limit Break. I mean, he's not a DLC character, but stuff like that even. That's how far they're willing to go to make sure that these games, these characters are represented accurately and faithfully. So this is a fun character. I'm glad she's in. I'm glad Arms did get some representation. It wasn't the character I thought. It wasn't this. Like I said, I thought it was going to be Twin Tail, or it was going to be like Springman, Ribbon Girl, Min Min herself too, and then just whoever the most popular like maybe 4 characters were. That's what I thought they were going to do, but that's not what happened. But I do think it turned out for the better that it wasn't that way. At least in regards to the, multiple reps as one character thing. Twin Tail they could have done, but I do think there was one issue with Twin Tail in her being the arms representative, and that is that she doesn't really fight with her arms. She fights with her hair, which is interesting and it's unique for her as a character, but I guess it would look kind of weird if the arms rep and the whole thing about, these characters use their their powers to fight with slinky arms, which is so hilarious that Sakurai actually had a real old school slinky. I had one of those when I was little. So that's how old I am. If you had an original metal slinky, then you know. Then you're old like me. But that was hilarious to see Sakurai pull out a slinky. That was funny. But anyway, yeah, I could see why that they thought, if we're going to use an arms character, it's got to be a character that actually fights with their arms. And Twin Tail fights with her hair. So, it's too bad. But I can see it. And plus, that would have probably made it hard if they had gone the other route, where they were going to animate, if they would have had multiple reps as one character. I guess it probably would have been weirder to have implemented Twin Tail in that case too, because again, it's her hair and not her arms. But they might have been able to work it out because the heroes are. But then again, the heroes are all very similar. They all fight with swords. They all carry a shield, even if they look different. So, oh well. I wanted it to be Twin Tail, but you know what? I like Min Min too. After seeing the trailer, she's cool. And that's going to be it on the Min Min discussion, because I'm kind of repeating myself at this point. But I want to jump to something that's not, it's not about a video game, but it's about something else. Super Nintendo World. There was some new footage that came out. Somebody filmed of the progress they're making with Super Nintendo World in Japan. I guess this is where this footage was filmed. I think there's supposed to be one in Florida too, Universal, I believe. I need to look that up and be sure. I'm pretty sure there's going to be one in the States, but anyway, the footage is amazing. It's amazing to see this because there were two different spots I saw where they've got a green Koopa shell spinning and bouncing between like a block and a drain pipe, and you can see like the little thing it's on where it's the like a little it's like a little train track for the animatronic or whatever you want to call those, because I don't know if it's necessarily animatronic's the right word, but anyway, where the Koopa shell's spinning and it's just going back and forth and it's rolling along the track, so it looks like it's bouncing off the pipe and the block. That's cool. There's a lot of just spinning coins, and they're in sync, and that looks really cool. I saw there was a Yoshi running around a tree. There's some piranha plants that are like coming out of a few of the drain pipes, and they move. That's pretty fun. I saw a fire flower on one of the displays, and it was moving too, because like in the modern games, the fire flowers kind of dance around a little bit, and that's fun. What else did I see? I mean, other than like the moving things, like like, do you want to know? I want to know how interactive the scenery will be, because you can do a lot with like Mario scenes, and I know that like you're not going to be able to go up and grab the coin, but supposedly, I remember reading something about them saying, excuse me, where they wanted basically the whole park to be like a game, like you're playing some kind of game while you're in the park. I don't know how that's going to work other than maybe through like apps, but that would be really fun. Like if you could go by if you could like go walk by a coin or a question block and like pull your phone out and scan it or something, and you get an item for it, and that item gives you points of some sort, that would be really fun. But I'm just not sure. They have something like that at Disney World. They've had various games you can go play. Like, I know in Epcot, the last time I went, they had something to do with Phineas and Ferb. It's called like something with like you help Perry the Platypus defeat Doofenshmirtz. You get a cell phone with only the only function on it is this app that works for this game. And you go around the different countries like you would in Epcot, and you go see the stuff. But it tells you there are specific things to look for, or specific places to go. And you like have to hold the phone up to, certain things, certain pieces of scenery that are just out. And if you hit a certain button on your phone or your app, you can interact with the scenery, and it changes. Like there's hidden robots or whatever, and there's one in the Mexico area of Epcot where if you activate it, you see Doofenshmirtz with a laser comes popping up over the rest of the scenery, and he shoots at something. And it's really fun, and then you get a text message that says, okay, go to the next place, And it's a fun, basic, like, it's basically like a scavenger hunt, except you don't really win anything. It's just there to do. So, they could do something like that here, and I hope they will. They have another game like that, and they actually have several games like that, actually. The Magic Kingdom, there's a card game where they have these different stations. I don't know if any of these things are still up. I think the Phineas and Ferb one got ditched. But I do know the last time I went, they had like a card game, and you go and you hold cards up. They only work in the park, and you can interact with magic mirrors where various Disney villains pop up, and you cast spells against the villain. And then if you defeat one villain, you have to go to another place and go track them down in this area. You could spend the whole day just walking around the park, going to various areas where these mirrors are stationed, and play this interactive card game. It's the closest thing to like it's the closest thing to a real life presentation of the way Yu-Gi-Oh is shown off in like the anime. It's the closest thing to that you're gonna ever play. So that's funny. And there's a treasure hunt. There's a pirate treasure hunt in Adventureland. Right outside of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, you get like a pirate treasure map, and you go walk around, and you can interact with the scenery. Like there's a scene where there's an area where I think it's like the Jungle Cruise, and there's some water. But if you go to this one particular area and you interact with the little triggering device thing for I can't think of what you would call it. All I know is it triggers the thing, and a skeleton rises up out of the water to tell you something and then sinks back in. Now, see, if you weren't playing the Pirate Hunt game, you'd never know that was there. You'd never know there was a skeleton hidden in the water. And he rises up out of the water to tell you some sort of pirate mumbo jumbo, and then he goes away. That's funny. There's a cannon you can interact with in that game too that fires at something. It sets off like a smoke thing. This doesn't actually shoot anything out of it. You see something move on the other side. It's synced perfectly to where it looks like you fired a cannonball at something. It smokes a little bit, and then you move on to the next thing. It's a fun game. There's even like interactive things within like the store where you buy pirate stuff. But anyway, I hope they'll do something like that here, because there's so much stuff you could do with Mario, and like how many different power-ups there are. It's this park should be a game. You should feel like you're playing a game when you go in the park. I know that's what they said they want to do, but they really need to try to do that as best they can, because I think that would make it very unique. Like, I don't know if you could really say or set a goal for a theme park. I don't know. Like there's not really too much specifics, but anyway, just if you can go look up the videos, especially the recent one. Look at like Bowser's Castle. There's some pyramids in the corner to show like a desert area, and just the amount of detail they put into it is very, very good. It's very cool. I can't wait to go. I'm like I said, I'm pretty sure they're building one in Florida. I don't know, because there's no way I can get to Japan even after all this stuff with the virus is over with. But I just hope it's fun, because I would go to this thing as often as possible. If it's as fun as it looks like it's gonna be, I'm gonna love it. But there's not really much I could say about this, because there's not really anything specific to talk about this, other than just how cool it looks. And I got off on a tangent on Disney, but I was trying to stress a point that you could work in a bunch of games from just being at this park. Not to mention, there should probably be all kinds of places. There should probably be a true throwback arcade in this park somewhere, where you can just go and play like Donkey Kong and the Mario Brothers games and anything like that. That has to happen, because I'll be disappointed if a video game themed theme park does not have an arcade in it, especially a Nintendo theme park, and they don't have a place where you can go and just play old games. That to me would be just crazy. But which, by the way, something I posted on Twitter earlier today, and I still stand by it. Places like GameStop should double as a game store and an arcade. That should be a thing. And there was plans apparently to make something like that, where GameStop became more of like a community sort of, or like a hangout, I guess you could say. I'd say just go all the way, make it an arcade. Have it be half game store, half arcade. Now, some of these smaller GameStops you couldn't do that with. I mean, I know there's way more problems with GameStop than just the size of the store, but the point is I think if you're going to be a company or business that is in the business of making money off of video games, I see that the arcade scene has died down. I think you could maybe salvage arcades as a business by just uniting them with game stores instead of them being separate. Instead of having you know you know Bob's Arcade down the street and then GameStop down the street, you know combine the two. I don't know that's there's not really a big, at least that I'm not aware of, a big arcade franchise like that out there that you could say is on the same scale of size as GameStop is. But I think that a shift in business model for GameStop, if they still follow through with that, that would be good for them. Turn your stores into arcades. Let people come in and play games, and I don't. You could make money off of that. I went to a. It's been a while since I went to one, but I did go to one place that was a. You come in and you rent a controller and you play for X amount of time. So it's not exactly an arcade, not like in the traditional sense. Even though that's what I want. If it was up to me, I would do like a just straight up arcade. You know, have old games, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, anything like that I could get my hands on. Um, Bring in stuff like skee ball tables or not skee ball tables, air hockey. That's what I was thinking. Air hockey, but I would put skee ball in there too. Air hockey, just as much as you could, just straight up fusion dance a GameStop or a game store with an arcade. And you could leave out the demo kiosks there that have like the 15 different Nintendo demos you can play and trailers you can watch. And the same for like the Sony and Microsoft stuff. You don't have to get rid of that. Just add more. Add more stuff. Especially because like with like Arcade One Up now, like I can't believe I have not been in a GameStop yet that had a playable Arcade One Up cabinet, even though they sell them. I've seen the cabinets in those places in their gigantic boxes, but they don't have them out to for people to play, and I don't know why. But anyway, that's what I would do. But there's not really much else I could say about Super Nintendo World because it's just footage. There's nothing you can interact with yet, but it's cool. Go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Now I'm gonna shift to a drop that came out 2 days ago. Yeah, somebody found this in the files of Fortnite, and it turned out to be true. Captain America is in Fortnite now as a skin. That was kind of cool. And I went ahead and got it because I know how these guest skins work. There's no guarantee they'll come back. It said he said he was in the store for 24 hours, and then they extended it. But I figure after today he'll be gone. But these are really cool skins, and somebody on Twitter said that it's amazing at night that Fortnite seems to have better quality presentations for some of these characters than the official Marvel games do. And I agree. I think that Cap looks really, really cool in game. I've played a few games as him. I'm disappointed though because there's that meme of him of Captain America, turning the chair around backwards and sitting down in it. It's a GIF. I thought there was an emote. I thought it was an emoticon in Fortnite where you could do that, but because I do have the one where you just sit in the chair and you sit, as you normally you just sit down in the chair. They don't turn it, behind. They don't flip the chair backwards and then sit in it. You just sit in the chair as you normally would. I thought I had seen one where somebody flips it around backwards, but apparently that does not exist. I didn't spend a lot of time looking for it. I hope it exists at some point because I think that would be hilarious. But anyway, there's some fun to be had here. But these Fortnite skins, the guest skins, all look really good. I'm still not sold yet on. I still think the Aquaman skin will be out, I guess, in 2 weeks. I think on Thursday I did the week 3 challenge for that. I think he just looks too real. He looks too much. He looks too much like the guy who actually played Aquaman for the movie. Like that to me, like cartoony him up a little bit. Captain America doesn't look quite like, at least in my opinion, he doesn't quite look like. There's just something different about the way Aquaman is presented. He just looks too real. But it's not a bad character. It's not a bad design. But anyway, I do think Captain America looks very cool. His back bling is, of course, his shield, and it doubles as his harvesting tool. So when you go to harvest materials, the shield goes from his back to his hand. I've always thought that was cool. I thought that's what they should have done with Deadpool and his katanas. They didn't do that, though. That's a shame. But, it is what it is. That's a nitpicky thing. That's something that, is like, why didn't they do that? That's kind of weird. But it's not something that like affects my opinion of the way they did it. It's a nitpick. But anyway, so if you like Fortnite, go get this Captain America skin. It looks really cool. He has his own emoticon where he does this big heroic pose, one basically that same pose you see in this picture, and fireworks start popping up from right behind him, except they look really small, so it looks like there's just fireworks going off in the distance. So you have to train your brain to not realize when you're looking at it that they're, I've been playing I'll get to that. That's my last topic. But you have to lie to your brain that the fireworks are just really tiny, popping out directly behind him, and just imagine them in like the far distance. That's what you got to do. But even if you don't look at it that way, it's still really fun. It's a fun little emotion. And plus, you add it with some of this stuff. I got the Rick Roll emoticon, so it's really fun to have some of these characters do that dance with that song playing. I've always wondered if people found that annoying or not, because I throw this out on pretty much everybody as the game starts to load up. that's how old I am too. I guess I still find Rick rolling funny. But anyway, that's a fun little thing. But it's also it's a good example of how they make money, how Epic makes money off of this game, is they just drop a skin like that, and they only give you like a certain amount of time. I complained about that for like the X-Force, how that was only available for I think 24 hours, maybe 42 hours. I think they were only up for 24 hours when they were first added. And thankfully they put them back at the very end of the season. And so I was able to get the X-Force skins. I got Psylocke and I got Domino and Cable, and because they were the best looking skins I've seen in the game. But there are some really cool ones too that aren't pertaining like Marvel or DC or whatever. But there was a Batman skin. I think there were 2 Batman skins, which is weird because this is a game about shooting people with guns. Batman shouldn't have a gun. I mean, I think that like the continuity says that whatever happens on the island isn't real; it's a simulation, and you're not technically killing somebody in the game. Like as far as like it's just within the storyline. So I don't know. But anyway, get Captain America. He's fun. But that leads me into something that I have been working on. This is sort of just a self-plug, but I figured out how to do fun little tricks with the replay mode of Fortnite, and I've decided to start making little short movies on YouTube. Especially because the whole reason I got into this was to get the Deadpool skin because I like Deadpool because I think he's funny. So now that I actually have a way to, and what it was is this is inspired by the fact that the X-Force was at it. And so there's this little team that all know each other. Cable and Deadpool know each other, and the whole thing with the X-Men. And I wanted to do funny shorts. And I was going to do this without the replay mode. But then I learned about the replay mode, clips, and then go in from after you've finished up, if as long as they're still within, as long as they haven't been deleted, you can go back in, camera around, and you can hide like your HP bar and all that, and the map stuff and all that, and you just have whatever happened in the game. So like this picture here of Deadpool. You can't see your character's face because you can't turn your character to face, away from you. Or no, you can't have your character facing the camera because you can't shoot behind you. So if you turn your character, it moves the camera. So like if you in game, if you move, if you can go forward or you can go backwards. You can't like just turn around. The camera is fixed to stay behind you. So in this free range mode, you can go in there and move the camera around to wherever you want. So that helps me, that will help me capture some fun animations. The emoticons will be really, really helpful. And in creative mode, you can basically build your own sets. So hopefully I can come up with some funny things to do and say and some funny jokes. And I'm going to be using... I don't want to give away too much, but it's not going to be limited to just the skins retaining to Marvel. So if I have a chance to use the skins, like the idea I wanted to do is like have like the X-Force be against a team that's led by Midas, and Midas is the villain because he's a character associated with gold, so why wouldn't he be the villain? But and just hijinks ensues. It's not going to be a serious show. Unless people want something like that, I could do that too. But I want it to mostly just be funny and it's centered around Deadpool. Because I've always liked playing Deadpool. I've had a few fan projects where I did get to play Deadpool, and they were really fun. And I would like to do that again. So I'm kind of just giving myself an excuse to play Deadpool again. But I've got some ideas for episodes already. And hopefully they're funny. And Fortnite, and I go through like the battle pass and start unlocking more skins and stuff. And maybe I can get some of these others, because you never know when a guest skin's going to drop. I saw some people saying that they think there may be a Thor skin in the works based on the original trailer they showed for Captain America showing up. So who knows who all could be added at some point. So who knows? I hate that I missed out on some of those skins because they would have been fun. Especially, it would have been really fun to have a scene where I know there was a Harley Quinn skin added. Boy, could you have imagined a scene between Deadpool and Harley Quinn? I mean, Harley basically is DC's Deadpool anyway at this point. So it's hopefully it's funny and hopefully people will watch. And I really don't want to talk about it too much. This is the last thing I have to really talk about. But other than just I could go off on some stuff that was released in the last 2 weeks that was fun. Anyway, hopefully I'm going to start working on this. I'm trying to get a teaser trailer finished for it now. I've still got to go back and film some more stuff, some more skins and all. But anyway, hopefully when I get this done, get it up, people will like it and people will want to see more. So that's coming. So what else can I talk about? Pokemon Cafe Mix was out. I don't remember. Was this out when I talked about it? Because that was 2 weeks ago. Anyway, I was going to stream Pokemon Cafe Mix, but I got in, and it's a touchscreen only game, even on the Switch. So you can only play it by touching the screen. So that's disappointing. I was looking forward to streaming it, but I don't have the necessary stuff to stream a game that's completely touchscreen sad, but that's just how it is. What else happened? Uh, Ninjala's out. I can't remember if that was out or not. That came out last week. I played a little bit of that. It's fun. I didn't have any tech issues that I can remember when I played. I think I won first place in one or two fights. So that's fun. Good little free to play game. There's a story mode you can buy if you really want to. Um, what else? The swimming update in Animal Crossing is live. If you want to go swim, go get that. And what else? There was one more. Oh yeah, SpongeBob. SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated is finally out. I've been playing through that. I just defeated King Jellyfish. So and that is recorded, so that's coming to the YouTube channel too. So look forward to that. But that's about all I got really. It's a short show. And I guess I could also just drop in a little bit of bragging rights. I made it to gold rank in Killer Instinct. That was a little series I've done. I got that recorded of my struggle to get into the gold rank, which thankfully I did not lose. The ranking system in that game is it says, they reset the killer tier, and I didn't know if that meant for all players or just the killer tier, or if it like kicks you out of killer tier, or if you just have to replace later. So I don't know how that works. I had only originally planned to go for gold, but since it doesn't kick me, since the tier reset doesn't affect those below killer rank, I'll just continue that at some point. I'm going to take a break from that for now because I've been playing it a lot. But I'll come back and finish that, get in the killer tier, and see just how well I can do there. Probably not. It's probably going to take me a lot longer. It took me a good deal longer to get from silver to gold than it did from bronze to silver. So I can only imagine how long it's going to take me to get from gold to killer. And then even more so, try to climb the killer ranks. That one may be something I don't try at all. But anyway. I'm going to go ahead and say that's it for the show. Don't really have anything else to talk about. I heard there is a rumor out. I saw some people say that there was a rumor going around that a Nintendo Direct could be on the horizon. Who knows? Because it wasn't that long ago that the rumor was that they were not going to do any Nintendo Directs for a while, or at least for the foreseeable future. There was an article that came out Nintendo where they said that that Nintendo Directs are incredibly effective. They find them very useful. People pay more attention to their releases and announcements when there's a Nintendo Direct than they do when they just announce something out of the blue, like Paper Mario and the Origami King, because now people have focused on it. Because it's almost like it's like watching a TV special or some it's because it's literally a special presentation, and the Direct itself is like a show, and people treat it like that, like a special event. It's not just here's a stream of announcements. No, people look to this as an event, as like like some kind of TV special, and that's the way it should be. So, and the article said that they do find that directs are effective, but they don't. But times change, and that doesn't necessarily mean that directs will be around forever. I hope that doesn't mean that they're already considering doing away with directs, because people still love them. They love them. People love them enough that Sony and Microsoft basically copied the Nintendo Direct format so they could do their own, which neither gets as much attention as a Nintendo Direct. But either way, hopefully they don't get rid of the Directs for a while. I mean, it would make sense especially not in the middle of the Switch's lifespan. I mean, you have an incredibly popular console that you reveal stuff for in an incredibly popular format. Don't ditch the format just to ditch the format. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, that should be common sense for anything, but some people just like to go about tinkering with stuff. I mean, there will be a time where the Nintendo Directs are no longer necessary, or they come up with a different format, and that's fine. But don't do that in the middle of when it's still very popular. You know, I mean, every single month, I mean, it's almost become a meme now to where people are like, where's my Nintendo Direct? We need a Nintendo Direct. Like, people go crazy when there's not one. So, keep it up until they don't draw the same attention anymore. That's what you should do anyway. Or at least wait until you move on to the next console. Then you could start clean. You know, start with a fresh slate, you know, clean slate. Change the format then. But not now. Not now. But anyway, that's going to be it for today. I managed to fill enough time for 45 minutes. But thanks for watching. I hope you'll check out all my stuff on YouTube. Look forward to the Deadpool show thing. I got more gaming stuff coming. Like I said, this week's probably going to be a focus on Digimon World on YouTube. But yeah, lots of stuff coming. Like and subscribe and all that. You can like it here. I don't know if probably not going to matter to say to subscribe to me on my Mixer channel because Mixer's going away. It's kind of weird, but you know what can you do? Although I really don't have any interest in doing anything over Facebook, so it looks like it's going to go down to just Twitch and YouTube for now. But like I said, YouTube is where all my gameplay stuff is. That's where my Deadpool show is going to be. Go check that out. And hopefully I can get this teaser trailer done. I'm going to shoot for having it done today. If not today, tomorrow. But anyway, hope you enjoyed listening to me talk. And that's going to do it for the show. Hopefully I've got more things to talk about next week. Because there's not really a point for me to do the show if there's nothing to talk about. But if I can get at least 4 or 5 different things to talk about, 4 or 5 topics to talk about, I can stretch it out to 45 minutes. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time.
Do the Mario swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario. Take one step and then again. Let's do the Mario all together now. You got it. It's the Mario. Do the Mario. Swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario. Take one step and then again. Let's do the Mario all together now.